Hello everyone, and welcome to a galaxy far, far away. We have now embarked on the 2024 LEGO Star Wars Advent Calendar. And welcome, I'm so happy that you're here with me. We have just opened door number 1, and behind door number 1 we find none other than an X-Wing starfighter. That is as classic, quintessential Star Wars as it gets. It is a really cool model. I love the fact that you can see there is this little stud here that is an astromech droid that an X-Wing needs in order to fly through hyperspace and also do small repairs on the ship and everything. And it has the nice proportions and everything. It's a wise use of the bricks, and I love the red line here. I actually think that the color scheme of this X-Wing indicates that this is actually Red 5, Luke Skywalker's X-Wing. The first time we saw an X-Wing, and even this X-Wing, if it is Red 5, was in the end of the first movie that was made, A New Hope from 1977, where this was appearing in the climactic battle of Yavin towards the end of the movie. So an X-Wing craft is actually quite versatile. Besides the hyperdrive, it also has 4 laser cannons, 1 on each wing tip, and in the fuselage, it also has proton torpedoes. And the proton torpedoes is what Luke uses towards the end of that movie to blow up the Death Star. And you see that in the end of the movie that he turns off the computer assistant and uses the Force to guide him to figure out when he needs to shoot the torpedoes. And then they hit the ventilation shaft and starts the train reaction that blows up the Death Star. It's amazing. Actually, the Battle of Yavin, that's quite interesting. If you look up Star Wars lore on the internet, you will find out that the Battle of Yavin is used as a reference point in the Star Wars timeline. So they talk about so many years before or after the Battle of Yavin, a little bit like we use the birth of Christ in our timeline to indicate when did something happen in history, like 1,000 years before the birth of Christ or 400 years after, so on and so forth. So that's a fun little fact. It is also actually not too many years before the Battle of Yavin that these fighters were taken into use by the Rebel Alliance. So after that point in time in the Star Wars franchise, the X-Wing is more or less part of every single Star Wars thing you can find. Other famous scenes that includes an X-Wing I would mention is The Empire Strikes Back, where Luke has crash landed on the swamp planet of Dagobah. And Yoda, who is in the process of training him to become a Jedi, says that he needs to lift the X-Wing out of the swamp by the use of the Force. And Luke, he tries and he fails, and he says to Yoda, that is absolutely impossible. And Yoda puts him into his place by basically just lifting it out. And Luke is completely astonished and goes and says, I can't believe it, where Yoda says, and that is why you failed. That's so cool. There is actually also a callback to that scene in the latest movie, at this time of recording, in the Skywalker saga, which is The Rise of Skywalker, where Luke finally manages to lift an X-Wing out of the water himself, and you can see in the scene that he is so satisfied with himself, and that's to indicate how powerful he's actually become at that point in time. I'll end up here with a fun fact. The X-Wing was actually originally produced with the hopes of the Empire buying them as their starfighters, because it is a super versatile starfighter. It actually doesn't really have any disadvantages, and also it has the possibility of hyper travel, which, as I said, is very uncommon for a vessel this small. But as it is with such big organizations as the Empire, politics all of a sudden came into play, and the Empire decided to instead go for the more cheaper option of the producers that actually, or the manufacturers who makes TIE fighters for them. So that is why they went that route. It was simply a cost-saving exercise. But then they can also make more of them, and they try to win with strength in numbers, which is very typically the Empire. But yeah, maybe it would have gone them differently had they actually chosen to mass manufacture this instead for their armada. All right. That was it for door number 1. Thank you so much for watching. I'm so happy to have you along for the ride. I hope you will join me tomorrow where we open door number 2. Please give this video a like. You can subscribe and turn on notifications if you want to. I come out every single day in December up until Christmas, around 4 o'clock every single day. I both make a video in English as the one you're watching now. I also make one in Danish. So if that's your mother tongue, then you can see those videos instead if you want. What do you think about today's build? Leave a comment, and then I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.